Hello everyone, it's me, Flipper's Paragraph, back with a new review, this time of the 1997 Abbas Kiarostami film, Taste of Cherry. Beautiful, beautiful fucking movie, okay guys? I'm really excited about this review. This film is one of a kind. It's very special, it's very unique, it's very creative, and it's very, very, very good. I came across this film because Abbas Kiarostami is considered one of Iran's great master filmmakers, if not the greatest master filmmaker to come out of Iran ever. And I was looking through his catalog, and you got a bunch of classics in there like Certified Copy and Close Up and The Wind Will Carry Us and all that. And then I found Taste of Cherry. And what intrigued me about it was, number one, the concept of the film seemed very interesting. The idea of this man searching for somebody to bury him after he's killed himself seemed very unique to me. And also, the poster, which I'll show right here, was beautiful, in my opinion. The Criterion poster, especially. It was gorgeous, and I was really, really captivated by it. And I don't know, it was a very provocative image, and it just made me want to watch it more. So that's the power of a good poster if you're into graphic design. So I saw the film, and it is a masterpiece. It honestly is. It's so, so good. It's not perfect, and I'll get into why. It has some major flaws that I'll get into, but I thoroughly, thoroughly enjoyed it, and I thought it was wonderful. I thought it was a wonderful, wonderful film. It is, I believe, my second or third Abbas Kiarostami film, but it's his best so far. And in the future, if you guys want me to review more of his things, I'll happily review it. I think he's a wonderful, wonderful filmmaker. I'd be happy to review his films. So just let me know in the comments below if you'd like to see more Abbas Kiarostami reviews or not. So, what is the plot of this film? What is Taste of Cherry about? Taste of Cherry follows a man named Mr. Bagheri, played by Homayoun Ershadi. I believe I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, but yeah. Who drives his truck around the blazing desert of Tehran, and he's searching for somebody to bury him underneath a cherry tree once he commits suicide. So, in the film, he finds 3 men to bury him. One is a soldier. One is a Muslim man. And the third is a taxidermist. The soldier objects and runs away. The Muslim man objects because of the Quran. And the taxidermist agrees because of his daughter, but objects morally against suicide and tries to talk him out of it. Eventually, Mr. Bagheri goes and lies in his grave and tries to kill himself, and it's unknown to us whether or not he succeeded. So, as you might expect, from a plot that simple, that I would give it negative score for being so simple. But I think the simplicity works towards the benefit of the film, because the film is also shot very simply, the sound is very simple, the acting is very simple. It's a very quiet, delicate, touching film. It reminds me of something by Yasujiro Ozu. It reminded me a lot of the film Good Morning, because Good Morning is also a very delicate and very tame film. And not to say that this film is in any way like, it's so frail. No, it's a very strong film, but it's also so, so simple that it works to its benefit because of the strength of its core messages and its core themes. It has such a strong core that it's able to survive with a weaker shell, and that weaker shell actually accentuates the core and allows for the themes to come out more clearly, because the themes are what this movie is about, similarly to Good Morning. That movie is about family, and this movie is about life and death. Starting off, right off the bat with positives, this film is very patient and very deliberate with its shots. Most of the film was shot by Abbas Kiarostami. He would sit in the passenger seat of the car and just film Mr. Badi driving around. This film was made for like a micro budget, and it really shows, because the film, not to say that it looks cheap or anything, but it's so quaint and so quiet that you can tell that like not a huge amount of money went into this, and not a huge amount of like people or crew or like big rigs or anything like that. No, this movie is very simple. It's very quiet. It's very tame. This movie is about a man trying to kill himself, and it's beautiful in that way. It's very, very beautiful. The talks in this film, the dialogue in this film, the poetic, immaculate dialogue written by Kiarostami about life and death is just gorgeous. The taxidermist asks Mr. Badi if he'll miss the taste of cherries when he's gone. And that line, despite being a title drop, and usually I criticize that just because it's a little corny, it worked so well in this. It worked remarkably well. And it gives the title this sense of belonging, and the whole film just oozes with meaning and direction and just vision. This whole film is what it looks like when a director has vision, and when a director knows what he wants and goes after it. The cinematography is beautiful. The lighting and the colors, they're just immaculate. Like the harsh lights of Tehran, and like the gray, muddied, sandy color of the city is just so beautiful and so delicate to watch. It's gorgeous scenery. The people look gorgeous. I mean, they don't literally look gorgeous. Some of them look very ugly, in fact. But from a cinematography standpoint, they look so good, and everyone looks so good. Everyone is acting so well. Ershadi does a fantastic job as Mr. Badi. He does such a good job. It's so hard for me to explain it, but he's so precise and so headstrong in what he wants and how he wants to portray this character that it just comes off so naturally out of him. Everything about this performance just flows out of him, from the dialogue to his actions. Everything about it just forces itself out of him in a way that's so natural and so unpredictable. Honestly, this film is unpredictable, because you cannot tell me you know how this film ends before you've started watching it. You have no idea. You have no idea how this film ends. I'm not going to spoil it, but the last scene, nobody can predict that shit. Which, I'm not sure what the point of the last scene is, to be honest. But it is unpredictable. I'll say that much. Perfect technical aspects on this movie. Perfect technical aspects. The editing done by Kiarostami himself is perfect. It's fucking perfect. Every single shot lasts exactly how long it's supposed to. Every transition, every cut, every turn of the camera angle is intentional. Everything he did was done with precise planning and precise execution. Every single thing. The sound in this movie is so good. It's so good. You hear like cars and buses and shit, and just people walking around, and it's like the soundscape was built out of nothing, and it just turned into this beautiful just cityscape of what Tehran is really like, and it feels like you're in Tehran with that soundscape. It's just perfect. It's simply perfect. Now, so far in the review, you might be expecting me to give this an 100% because it's sure as hell sounding like it, but here's where we get into the criticisms. So, this movie, with all its masterful cinema and masterful filmmaking and all of that stuff, it lacks a lot in the department of logic and explanation. There's a lot of things that aren't explained, which in part adds to the mystery of the film, which is a good thing. But on the other hand, it leaves you unimmersed. It takes you out of your immersion because you're sitting there wondering, like, I wonder why Mr. Buddy wants to kill himself, and I wonder why it's so important for him to get buried. And if he has friends, why doesn't he ask one of his friends to bury him? And if he has family, why does he want to kill himself? Like, you ask yourself, not that only people without families kill themselves, but you sort of wonder, why does he want to kill himself? Why does he want this? Why does he want that? Nobody's motives are explained very well, especially not Mr. Badi's, and it's what took me the most out of the film, because there were several points where I paused it and I would rewind in case I missed something that would explain why he wants to kill himself or why he wants to be buried so badly. And I don't think I missed anything, but if I did, tell me in the comments below, because I am lost. I mentioned in my Plague Dogs review that the one setting of England was detrimental to the film because it was just boring and dull and lifeless. Not that I like to use the word boring, but it was very lifeless and very dull and very flat and uninteresting. However, the one setting of Tehran gives this film a sort of trapped mentality. Like, the film has this sort of circular logic to it, where it's like he meets someone, he's about to get what he wants, and then he doesn't get it. And then he meets someone, is about to get what he wants, and doesn't get it. And it has that circular logic, so it feels like he's trapped, and it feels like he's trapped in Tehran as well, and it feels like he's trapped in the world of the living. And all of that gives this very claustrophobic feeling that it was missing from a movie like Plague Dogs, where the one setting didn't feel claustrophobic, but instead it just felt a little, not lazy, but it felt a little uninspired. This film had a very effective, constant pace that it was moving at, which kept things interesting. There isn't a single dull moment in this. Even when he's driving around, you're in there invested, wondering, like, is he going to find someone? What's going to happen? All this and all that. So it's never dull. It's never boring. There's always something happening. There's always something that it's building towards. And this is one of those movies that's really slow, but it gives you something to chew on. So I compare this in my notes to The Piano Teacher by Michel Haneke, and that's another movie where it's slow, the shots are long, not a lot happens, but at the same time, you're given so much to think about and so much to process that the movie stays interesting, because you're in there with these characters, and you're in there with Mr. Badi. Like, he is an interesting ass character. He is interesting because you're in there and he's so mysterious. Like, at first, Roger Ebert says in his review of this, like, you don't know what he wants at the beginning of the movie, and that's true. Unless you've read the plot description, you really have no idea. Like, is it a gay pickup? Is he actually looking for someone to give work to? Like, what's happening? You really have no idea. There are also these beautiful long monologues that just go for like pages and pages and pages about life and death and all of this stuff, and it's just beautiful to watch. This entire movie is just a beautiful, beautiful dance between dialogue and visuals and sound and acting. It's immaculate to watch. It truly is. Abbas Kiarostami did a fantastic job with this. It's also never overdramatic. It's always keeping it real. Like, it's always realistic. It's always believable. You could have had there were so many opportunities for him to fuck up in this movie and just have it be like this big long monologue by Badi about why he wants to kill himself, and that's not what we wanted. That's not what we needed, and that's not what this movie deserved. This movie deserved better, and this movie got better, and it got better and better and better, because there was never a single moment where everybody was being overdramatic and crying. There was always just people just talking and conversing and existing in this world. It's like the movie is acknowledging, yes, I understand that life is hard, but we don't have to be little babies about it. We don't have to cry about it. We don't have to stress about it. We just have to keep on living and try to help other people to keep on living too. That's what this film communicated to me, and it was beautiful in its communication of that message about life and death. It was extraordinary. I love this movie. I think it's fantastic. I'll certainly be rewatching it. I think I'm going to give this movie an 84%, which rates it pretty high on my list so far. Not as high as something like The Girl Without Hands, but it's still an 84, which is pretty good. I would recommend this movie to pretty much anyone, except unless you don't like slow cinema, I wouldn't recommend this to you. But if you're a fan of slow cinema, if you're a fan of foreign cinema, if you're a fan of Abbas Kiarostami, for sure I would recommend this. But yeah, I would try to recommend this to pretty much anyone, because it really is that type of movie where I think everybody could find something that they like about this movie. So yeah, that's going to do it for me, guys. I hope you enjoyed this review. I really hope you did. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe to the Patreon, subscribe to Twitch. Tell me what to review next, and I'll see you guys at the next one. Bye-bye.